There is something nobody talks about when they talk about Amerasians in the Philippines. It's not just that we look different, it's what people assumed the moment they saw us. Especially in places like Pampanga, like Subic, the towns that grew up around the American bases. If you were Amerasian there, if you had that face, those features around the skin, people didn't just wonder where you came from. They thought they already knew. They looked at you, and they looked at your mother in the same glance. And in that glance was a judgment that nobody said out loud, but everybody understood. That your mother was a hospitality girl, that you were the proof of it. Nobody asked, nobody needed to. The assumption was there, sewn into the way people greeted you, or didn't. Into the way some doors opened slowly, or not at all. I grew up wearing a stigma that wasn't mine to wear. My mother's story was her own, her choices, her circumstances, her survival. Those belong to her. But I carried the weight of other people's conclusions about her, about us, about what we were. And I was a child. I didn't have the words for it then. I only knew the feeling that there was something about me that made certain people decide before I even opened my mouth. Mother, that I was less than, that my beginning was something to be ashamed of. It's different now. I see that. Today, Mestiza's face is something to celebrate. Tisays are on television, on billboards, in magazines. The same features that made me shrink as a girl are now considered something to aspire to. And I don't know whether to feel relieved or furious about that, because what changed? Not the face, not the blood, not the story of how we came to be. What changed was fashion. What changed was the culture decided was beautiful that decade. We were always the same people. The world just decided, much too late, that we were worth celebrating. Those of us who grew up in the in-between years, we didn't get that. We got the stares and the silence and the borrowed shame of assumptions made about our mothers. We survived anyway, but I want it on record that we shouldn't have had to survive it in the first place. And I want to acknowledge something while we are talking about this. Not all Amerasians face the same kind of staring. Those born from Black American soldiers, they carried a lot different and often heavier burden in a society that already had its own complicated relationship with the color of skin. These children were ridiculed more openly, called names, pushed further to the margins, made to feel that they were the least of the least. You cannot blame some of them for the hardness they developed, for the walls they built, for the paths they ended up on. But I also want to say, look at what some of them became despite all of it. Because some of those forgotten fruits refuse to stay forgotten. They are proof that where you came from does not have to be where you end up.